Coach, obviously a lot of improvement on the defensive side of the ball. I want to know kind of what was your feeling about the performance of the back line, Justin Shea making his first start in a while?
Performance of the team, excellent. First half, really, really good, on top in every way. Score a really good goal. Give away next to nothing. Second half, yeah, we know that in a big game they're gonna push and respond, try to change a little bit, and one of the things that we have to continue to work on is our ability to defend set pieces. And so they're able to get back to 1-1, and obviously at that point both teams are pushing. I thought we were gonna still find a way to get the winner. We have a few good advantages, few good chances, but overall, like I said, very, very proud of the team. We took a good step forward this week, in all ways. So tonight, when the lights came on and we got our chance to play, a really big game at home against a good team, our package of football was there and not only held up in a real way, but had us on top for long stretches. So we feel good about that. Disappointed to not take all 3 points, but we will continue to get better, continue to push, continue to improve, and if we can play like that on a lot of nights, then we're going to be in a good spot.
Next, go to James.
Thanks, Michael. You mentioned how dominant the team was in the first half. Given that it ends 1-1, does it feel maybe like 2 points dropped here? But to also comment on how good the body of work has been this week, Emil commented that 7 points out of 9 this week, moving the team in the right direction. Just what's your take on the last week or so and how the direction the team's moving in?
Yeah, as I said, I think we took a really good step forward this week. A really good away win in Chicago, come back and beat a good Columbus team at home on Wednesday, and then play in the way that we do tonight. Are we disappointed that we didn't take all 3 points tonight? Yes, absolutely. But as Emil alluded to, if you look at the week as a whole and think about, one away game followed by 2 home games in quick succession, 7 points is still a good return, but more than or just as much as the points, it's also the maturing of the group. It's the improvement of our ideas, of our football, of our ability to be hard to play against, of the way that we can also play with a harder edge and with more intensity and more physicality. And so, look, we're going in a good direction, and that's the most important thing.
Next, go to Sanjay.
Thanks, Michael. You talk a lot about wanting the team to feel alive. The stadium felt maybe more alive than it's been all season tonight. Obviously, it's a special game, and they have their vocal group of away fans. But compared to the last derby, you could feel it from your fans tonight in the stadium. What does that feel like as a coach? Like, is that palpable to you throughout the game? And how do you guys bottle that up and keep it and kind of build on it? Not every game's a derby, obviously, but you want to see more of that, right, in the fall on the other side of a World Cup, and as you guys grow as a team on the field, you want to see it in the stadium. So your thoughts on that? Thank you.
Yeah, the atmosphere was amazing tonight. We did the red carpet before the game. You could feel the energy already outside the stadium. When everybody came in from warm-ups, you could tell that there was a buzz in the stadium, and there's nothing better. There's nothing better. I thought even just taking a step back and looking at it from a bigger picture standpoint for the league, that's a really good game. That's a really good game between two teams that are both going after it. A lot of good players on the field. Both teams trying to play. Both teams trying to make the game hard on the other. In a great stadium on a great field. So that's for the league, for all of our players, for everybody. That's a really good game, and hopefully everybody who came into the stadium tonight enjoyed what they saw. Obviously, for sure, some disappointment for our fans that we don't take all 3 points, but the hope is that they can look on the field and see a team that is growing and going in a really good direction and playing in a way that is exciting and that they can be proud of.
Next, go to Michael.
Coach, kind of going off what you said about, it's just continuing to try and get better at set pieces. I asked Ronnie in the player unavailability what he saw the difference was between this game and the Open Cup game. And one of the things he said was that it felt as though the team was smarter in how its passes were being done, how it was chasing balls. It tried to be more selective and wasn't just trying to run around the field, just trying to pace itself out. In your opinion, what do you think the major difference is in this team's performance against New York City FC between today's game and that Open Cup game? What differences did you see?
It's 2 different games. Obviously, we our ideas in terms of how we want to play, the team that we want to be, our football, you guys hear me say it all the time. They don't change based on the opponent. Obviously, we're not naive, and we still look at details in the way that the opponent plays and how we can tweak certain things on different nights to give ourselves the best chance to win and be successful. We played a good game in the cup. Yes, we lost 3-1, but it was another night where from the run of play, we didn't concede much. They found 3 very similar goals on set pieces. In the second half when we were down 3-1, we didn't create quite as much as we needed to. But still, that was a hard-fought cup game with not much between the teams. And so, we looked closely at that game as we were preparing for tonight. Again, generally speaking, we step on the field to play our football, to try to put the game on our terms, to be the team that can control the ball, to be the team that can play with the ball in the attacking part of the field. We try to be a team that is going to press as high as possible, that can win balls back quickly, that is hard to play against. And so, I thought what you see tonight is growth and maturity of the team. And so we have to continue to go in that direction.
Next, go to Steve.
How you doing, Coach? Steve from Feels Good FC. I just want to give you a question. You've played in a few big derbies yourself. You played in Rome and you've played in Toronto and some of these big games. I just want to know, as this league is growing, where does this derby stack up for you, especially being a New Jersey native? How much does this game mean to you?
The feeling inside the stadium tonight was awesome. I've watched these games from afar for a lot of years. I can remember when New York City first came into the league, and some of the first derbies. Obviously Jesse was a coach, and I can remember watching those games closely, and even on TV, you could feel the energy, you could feel the clash of colors, styles, probably a few more things you could add to that list. But now to be a part of it and now on the sideline on a night like tonight, yeah, the part of two clubs in the in the same city, same community, same area, but obviously contrast in a lot of other ways, and what that means, how that comes together. They're fun games.
Next, go to Gary.
Like you said, you've been in a few of these games yourself as a player. Speaking to Ronnie Donkor, he was very succinct about how he felt about NYCFC. Quote, I hate these guys. So my question to you is, this is your first time coaching the team, coaching the district level. Did you have any problem motivating these guys about your opponent they're about to play? That was the one thing I was concerned about.
No, but players want to play on the biggest nights. Players want to play in the biggest games. Players want to play when everything's on the line, when the lights come on brightest. And so, yeah, you could feel over the last day or two, you could feel tonight when they walked into the stadium, into the locker room, that, guys had the look in their eye that they were ready to go. And so that part was great to see.
Everyone, we have time for 2 more questions, Coach. First, we'll go to Voss, and then we'll finish up with Zach. Thank you.
Thank you for the time, Coach. Just wanted to maybe ask about I had asked Ethan, about the defense and the familiarity of having guys like Justin Che come back, having Dylan Nealis there be starting games in and out, whether it's right back, center back, and how comfortable he is having them play alongside him to try to shore up that defense, which we've seen in the past could have been improved. Can I just ask you about how much confidence it gives you and your group seeing these guys come back? And just as a second part, we did see Rafa Mosquera come off the bench, but do you think that the team could have benefited from a more veteran presence, like a Choupo-Moting coming off the bench today, in a derby like tonight's, where the flares were up, a lot of 50-50 battles, and do you think maybe he could have influenced the match in your side's favor?
So I'll answer the second part of your question first. In a perfect world, absolutely, we would have loved to have had Choupo available tonight. He wasn't in the squad because he's felt a little bit physically. He's felt a little bit over the last few days, so he was not available. So that's the reason that we weren't able to turn to him tonight. In terms of now the consistency in the defense, yeah, we're really excited to have Justin back. He's a really important player for us. His profile as a defender, his speed, his ability to put out fires, his ability to defend 1-against-1 situations, those things are all really good. He's a leader. He's a competitor, and yeah, we missed him in a big way. So we're really excited to have him back. The biggest thing over this last period or one of the biggest things has just been that the lack of consistency in the back line, right? And so, certainly we've got now a week of training. We go Kansas City, play the last game before the break, and then we're gonna, obviously the players will get some time off, but then when we come back, we're gonna really use the time to work and push and improve, so that when the second half of the season starts in July, we're that much further along.
And we'll finish up with Zach.
Coach, building off or circling way back to what James said, again, you've got 7 points out of 9 now. You've got one match before the World Cup. Talk to me about the importance of getting into a good run of form heading into the World Cup break, and how you guys can keep this momentum going with such a long break.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure momentum's going to carry over 2 months, so I'll be completely honest. the momentum that we have right now, 7 points this week, that will carry over. And so we're going to use this coming week in a really good way. And then we're going to go to Kansas City ready to play that game like a final, because it's the final game for 2 months, and there's nothing to hold back. There's nothing to save yourself for. And so we're going to go there and be ready to lay it all out there. At that point, then the players are going to get some time off, and then when we come back, we're going to use that period in the summer to really, really work, really push. It's unique this year, obviously, because of the World Cup, but I've said it a few times. We're going to use it to our advantage. We're still a relatively new group, and so the opportunity to have a real period like that, to take our ideas, work on them every single day, get better, push football, push fitness, push intensity, push consistency, everything. We're gonna take advantage.